Thanks for joining us tonight for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. I'm Cody Proctor. Let's get started. New details tonight in the arrest of a Spokane Valley man accused of raping young boys and hiding pills in their food. 61-year-old Patrick Cabeza faces a handful of felony charges. KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk spoke with people who knew the suspect just hours after they learned what he's accused of. Kyle?
Well, Cody, the Spokane County Sheriff's Office believes Cabeza may have had contact with other young boys, and that's why we're following this story. We talked to his neighbors tonight, including a 23-year-old man who says Cabeza let him stay at his house free, but kicked him out weeks later. He says he had to follow strange house rules and that he's not surprised the 61-year-old is now in jail.
This is a tight-knit neighborhood. We say hi to each other. We know the children's names when they pass by. And then you've got someone like this in the mix.
Kim Price found out this afternoon that her neighbor across the street is accused of raping multiple young boys he was trusted to watch.
Sickening and terrifying at the same time.
According to court documents, 61-year-old Patrick Cabeza befriended a couple with young children last October. He claimed to have money and quickly became a grandfather figure, even promising to put the family in his will. Court documents show the boys slept over at Cabeza's house multiple times. In December, they told their mom the 61-year-old had molested them. They also reported finding white and pink pills inside pizza and chicken wings they ate at his home, according to court docs.
My family interacted with him. I've seen children in the neighborhood interact with him. And some of the things that my own son has said.
Kim says she was even more disturbed to hear of her neighbor's arrest because her 22-year-old son moved in with him over the summer. They knew the 61-year-old as Joe Patrick, not Patrick Cabeza.
Joe said that he was a musician and that he was a music producer and wanted to take my son under his wing.
I thought this is a perfect opportunity. I just got my music degree. There's pictures of him with big names, Justin Bieber, people like that.
Kim's son Chris wanted to work with Cabeza and says he offered him a free place to stay. But Chris told us he had to follow strange rules and wasn't allowed to have guests over.
He would always get upset if I was away at night, every single time. Always waiting there on the couch when I came home, and he would start talking to me about how I'm not doing things right in life because I'm out playing magic with friends.
Chris says he was never sexually assaulted. Cabeza kicked him out weeks after he moved in, and months before court docs say the 61-year-old groomed and molested the children who looked up to him.
I knew something would happen. That guy is not right.
The arrest continues to shock this otherwise quiet Spokane Valley neighborhood.
If you don't have a neighborhood watch, get one set up. That's what we're going to do. That's what we figured out. We're going to start a neighborhood watch, because we don't want anything like this in our neighborhood again.
And court docs show Cabeza had multiple security cameras both inside and outside of his home. A judge set his bond at $100,000. In the studio, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
Kyle, thank you so much. Well, looking ahead to tomorrow, I90 is closing down once again this weekend as the removal of the Magnolia Street Bridge continues. A 3-mile stretch between the Division and Freya exits will shut down starting at 6 o'clock tomorrow night and will stay shut down until 9 Sunday morning. Interstate 90 closed last weekend to start dismantling that footbridge, and they're finishing the process this weekend. All lanes in both directions will be closed. WashDOT recommends taking Sprague Avenue as a detour during the closure. In the meantime, it looks like full spring finally coming to an end. We saw cloudy skies for the first time in a while today, and it sounds like that'll be the pattern this weekend. Let's go over now to meteorologist Michelle Boss for a look at our weekend forecast.
Yeah, we are looking for those mild temperatures to continue for the weekend. Not as much sunshine, though, but our temperatures are certainly going to take a big change as we get into next week. So enjoy those 40s a little bit longer this weekend before you're going to have to start layering up. As we take a look at satellite and radar right now, we do have cloudy skies across the inland northwest. Still some snow showers, mainly across the Idaho Panhandle right now. Kind of zooming in there. Maybe some little more persistent snow showers out towards St. Mary's and Beauville. Those will continue through the overnight hours. temperatures not terribly chilly out there right now considering the time of year. Above freezing in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. Temperatures in the mid-30s, 37 in Moses Lake, and still in the mid-40s in Lewiston. Next 12 hours look like this. We'll see cloudy skies, a few flurries, a sprinkle possible over the weekend, but otherwise pretty quiet weather. It's not until next week where we'll start to see things really pick up with the cold temperatures, rain and snow, but over the weekend, a few flurries and highs in the 40s.
Let's move on now to Nightbeat with a quick look at the day's top stories. Washington State Governor Jay Inslee met with researchers at WSU who are looking at hemp as a way to help the state's housing crisis. The fibrous part of the marijuana plant is being turned into building materials such as flooring and cement-like blocks. Researchers say this is a cleaner, healthier alternative to traditional materials.
We ought to be willing to take a lot more risk in the developments of this industry and every other clean energy industry than we were in a new type of consumer product, because we have to solve this problem. So we as a state ought to be willing to take more risks for new technologies and new products. This amongst them. That's how I look at this.
Governor Inslee also visited Whitman County today to talk about green jobs and the economy. Avista Stadium set to undergo a multi-million-dollar renovation project to comply with Major League Baseball facility standards. It's estimated the project will cost $22 million and needs to be done by March 2025. In the current plan, the Spokane Indians hope to raise $8 million through fundraising, and the county would match dollar for dollar up to another $8 million. The rest of the funds would come from the state, federal government, and other sources. Spokane County is expected to vote on the proposal next Tuesday. And NASA and Boeing are eyeing April for the first manned test flight to the International Space Station for Boeing's Starliner spacecraft. It would launch with 2 NASA astronauts on board from Cape Canaveral in Florida. If the mission's successful, NASA will begin its process for formally certifying the Starliner for regular crew missions to the space station. That was your Nightbeat. To learn more about any of these stories, text the word night to 509-448-2000. We'll send them right to your phone.